Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Twim, and today we are going to talk with Cassandra Clark. You probably know her from the movie Infinity Chamber. So I'm waiting for her to join. I'm very excited because she's such a talented actress. Yeah, there she is. Let me try to send the request now. Yeah, I sent the request. Okay, let's try it again.
Hello.
Hey Cassandra, how are you?
Hi. I'm good. How's it going?
Everything's perfect here, thank you.
Great.
Where are you
Yeah.
now? Can you hear me?
You. It's pretty nice.
Yeah,
It's
we
a
had
little
a
sketchy with
problem
the
with the
internet.
connection now. I think it should be okay now. So, where are you now?
Burbank at my friend's house. Sorry, I think the
Oh,
internet might be a little slow.
I heard that in LA the weather is very good now these days.
Yeah, it's beautiful right now. It's incredible. I'm at a pool. It's very sweet. You can see it.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
So, would you please tell those who don't know you about your work and about yourself?
Sure. Born and raised in San Francisco Bay Area, and then I went to Los Angeles to start off auditioning and career, and then I landed the Infinity Chamber, which was the most amazing experience. And then it went pretty viral, and there was a lot of I don't know, it was like a niche of like sci-fi. It was really cool. And then I actually moved to New York, and then I started working on a show called Vinyl, and so I was on that show, and then fortunately the entire show got canceled because of creative differences, and it just kind of went from there. But I've been doing a lot of theater, which is my next stage in life, and I've been doing a lot of writing. So yeah,
That's cool. Usually people start from theater, then they go to movie, but for
you
your
know, I
case,
went
it was vice
I went
versa.
backwards. Maybe I
Yeah.
went backwards. I just wrote a one-woman show that will be produced by most likely next year, obviously, with everything going on. But so that's my next adventure.
Yeah, the first time I saw you was exactly in that movie that you mentioned, Infinity
Hmm.
Chamber,
Hmm.
and it was a wonderful movie. I was surprised because it
Thanks.
was totally extraordinary sci-fi, and you acted
Yeah.
perfectly there. And also
Thank you.
Christopher. Christopher was great. What do you think about
He
the
was
act?
amazing.
Yeah, yeah. How was the situation there while you were doing this film? What was the relation with Christopher? How was the experience?
It was so wonderful. He became an instant family member, like an instant best friend. I did the whole thing. I got the audition, and then I got a call back, and then I got a chemistry read with Chris, and we connected instantly. So it was a really beautiful experience because it went from my personal audition, like I got the audition myself, and then I actually at that time started working for a new manager, and that particular manager did all the negotiation, and it was the first experience of really, doing like the whole. I got the audition, had the manager do the deal, I have a beautiful chemistry read with the other actor, and then I booked the part. And it was just completely how it's supposed to be. There was no special treatment. It was very what was supposed to happen. And funny story is that Chris got me, like I was moving also within the middle of filming, and I had to change apartments, and he got me this beautiful studio apartment, and he was the one that found that for me. So he
Oh,
became
that's so
just
cool.
this like brother. It was great. We all stay in
Oh, that
touch,
was good.
producers, the director. Hmm. Yeah, it was a
So it was
great,
such a good
great moment.
relation even behind the scene for that movie.
Hmm.
We
It was,
could even feel it in the movie that there's a
yeah,
connection there.
that's good. That's beautiful. And then I chopped all my
What do
hair
you?
off, and now,
That's why also I have a cap now.
really.
So, so what do you think about the screenplay of Infinity Chamber? Because that was also extraordinary.
It's a very unique story, with the whole fantasy land that Chris endures and goes through with being in the prison. And I have never heard of anything like this, where even in the fantasy or even in his mind, he was able to recreate and retell his fate and how to escape this prison that he's in. It's just like this apocalyptic environment, and then all of a sudden he can detach and create some fantasy story with meeting a person, me, my character, like one time, and then have that image be recreated in your mind's eye. And I think it has so much to do personally. My interpretation is how people can deal with like trauma in their life, and how when you think of a thought or a memory, you only believe in that memory and only that thought. But what Chris did in the movie was he took a moment and he reshaped it. And then that is how he was able to get out of his trauma, out of his cell, out of where he was. And so I've had long conversations with Travis, who's the director and the writer, and he was saying the exact same thing. And so that was another thing, because I believe I was talking to him in the middle of my audition experience. And so with my understanding of the script and the story, I think that was just another reason why I booked the part, because it was, we all were on the same page, you know?
And they try to make it vague for the audience so that they make them think about their own perception about the movie. But
Mm-hmm.
did, for example, Travis explain you what we mean by that, or no? You should have figured it out yourself.
Well, we all, like I said, since I kind of knew and I read the script with auditioning, I kind of got it already. So it was already just a conversation, like a continuation. And he didn't really have to explain the script to me because I was already there. Like I already understood. So it was just more of a collaboration at that point, which was
But
great.
based
And it
on the
has,
script, still it's a little vague that what's going on at the end of the movie.
mm-hmm,
Whether the whole thing is just an imagination in his head, for example,
mm-hmm,
or
mm-hmm.
this is really happening. So these things are
Yeah.
not in the script for sure. That's why
Mm-mm.
I'm saying, for example, Travis needed to explain you what he means by that or not.
Yeah, I think you're right. Within the script, have you read the script?
No, I
Oh,
didn't,
just in
but
the movie.
this
Okay.
is what I personally, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, in the interpretation, yes, that's true. And the script wasn't rewritten. I think the story was developed while we were filming, and how Chris and I were as characters and actors coming to it. Um, I think that's what's so great about having a director who is the scriptwriter, is that it's his story also, and they can readapt and change and what they need to do within filmmaking and with the actors that they have. Because then with Chris and I's chemistry, like I know that Chris was all involved. Like he, from day one, like they've been developing this particular story for a very long time, even before they cast me. So I knew that that was a collaboration between those two, Travis and Chris. So yeah, even if it's on paper or not, I think the verbal and the chemistry and the storyline that they wanted to create was creation while we were doing it.
Yeah, because the way, for example, Chris was interacting with that robot, it needs that you know exactly what's going on in the script of that movie. You should have a
Mm-hmm.
perfect understanding.
Yeah,
And I felt that Chris totally knows what's going on. So
totally.
he's totally in the atmosphere.
Yeah, I mean it's
And
Chris's
what?
film.
Yeah.
It's
And
his movie.
what? So what was the name of your character in that movie? Gabby?
Gabby. I had a couple names because it was like Gabby, and then there was a fantasy name, and um, what was my name at the end? I don't know.
Yeah, at the
I
end
don't
there was
remember.
another name,
My
right?
my my character name that I was Gabby, And then at the end, I was a different person because of the name tag was different. Because it's
Madeline,
what
maybe. I
Madeline.
remember.
That's
Yeah, yeah.
Madeline.
That's. I
Thank you for
watched it
reminding me.
actually 1 year ago. It was surprising for me. I
Nice.
remember because I liked that movie so much.
No, I'm so happy you do.
And so I'm wondering during the real life why we don't run to such a waitress. You know, she was so caring. What do you think about Gabby's character?
I think Gabby, like, she's a mystery to me because it was Chris's fantasy of who Gabby is. And so Madeline is a real character. Um, I think that was someone who ran a cafe and was probably really stressed out and probably has a boyfriend or has some sort of like relationship or has some sort of life going on. But in Chris's um, imagination in his head, that was his dream girl. That was his fantasy of who Gabby is. Because that wasn't even really Gabby, right? That was just some name tag that she wore. And then he imagined. So really when I collaborated with Chris, I wanted to know what his dream perfect girl would be or what he would think. And then that would be the interpretation or the acting that I would be doing with him. So the character development was interesting because I've never done that before, where it's like I'm usually the one creating the character, and really what happened is that Chris created me, and we collaborated on that character together, but mainly from his point of view.
Yeah, and in that movie, what was confusing for me is that there was a scene that they showed you inside one of those rooms, like the one that Chris was trapped in.
Yeah, yeah, but that's what's so crazy. Yeah, so that is his imagination. Like I was
So I thought
literally.
maybe Gabby is thinking also, imagining something as well. That's why
No.
it was very confusing,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe not.
No, it's really him. I was there in spirit. I was there in a fantasy. I was in that room with him to guide him. And so that's why it's kind of like these really cool shots where it's like I'm on the chair or I'm not on the chair or I'm on the floor or I'm dancing with him. And like if you are alone in solitude, I'm sure all kinds of weird stuff happens in your mind where you can start picturing and talking to yourself and imagining someone being there. It's very ghostly, you know? Like I was literally a figment of his imagination. It's cool. I liked
Yeah,
filming
that's
that.
so.
That was fun.
Yeah, even so, that scene was inside the head of Frank, or as we
Hmm.
know, Chris.
So
It
a
was very
secret
interesting.
of that little building that we filmed in, it was a warehouse, and it was this tiny little. It wasn't a warehouse. Sorry, it was a storage unit, and it was this
Hmm.
tiny little storage unit that they built this prison in this little room, and all of
Yeah.
those things are real. All those doors and all the things they built everything, and so it really
Wow.
was like this tiny little prison looking box. It was really, really
But the
interesting.
locations in the movie were limited, and it was interesting how you can write a script so interesting that even in limited
Hmm.
location, you can have such a movie out of it.
Hmm. Yeah. And they traveled, Chris and Travis, they traveled, I think it was Colorado at the end where they did the snow scene. But everything else I believe was here. And then they did travel somewhere to go find that lake because of the picture.
Yeah,
But everything else more or less was here. And then that little
that was
box.
so cool. Yeah,
Yeah. But it's like
and
a house, like we filmed at someone's house. Hmm.
by the way, I wanted to ask you how challenging these days is to audition for getting a part, because I know in LA it's crazy. And
Hmm.
even if you play in very good movies, still it's very challenging that you get the next part. Are you facing these
Yeah.
challenges these days as well?
It's a challenge. I mean, these days, I don't know about these days because 2020 has been very much on standstill. But in general, and uh, before all of this COVID going down, it's difficult. I mean, I don't really recommend anyone going into your and and it's the most insane thing to be an actor. You, I don't recommend it. It's terrible. Don't do it. Because the amount of rejection and the amount of, false hopes. And like I've turned corners where I've booked incredible things, but then I've had like some time periods even right now of like not booking and having to recreate and do something else, like writing a show. Like I wrote a one-woman show that I'm about to produce, and it's really just about trusting yourself and that there's other things and other creative things that you can do in this industry, and it doesn't always have to be auditioning all the time. The audition process, like I said, even with the one that I just did with Infinity, it was so perfect that sometimes it just is so perfect. You just have to, you have that chemistry with people. I know people who work so hard and all they do is think about auditioning and career, and there is some luck to that. Like they have, that's all they do. But I have so many other interests and so many other passions. So I recommend just continuing with those things if there's people out there who are interested in auditioning and being an actor. It's really not about that. You really need to go with who you are. And if auditioning and acting is
But
that
as
what
it
that
seems,
is.
talent aside,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
No, go
as
ahead.
it seems, talent aside, the persistence is a very important key in order to get this
I
part. Even
agree.
it could
I
be
agree.
5 years, then suddenly it happens
Yeah.
again for you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how I feel because it's been a little while since I've booked something like Infinity. And I think it just takes that persistence and that just determination and recreation of your life.
But you keep yourself updated, especially theater
Hmm.
is very challenging. It's even more challenging than I think movie. Is that right?
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. Yes.
Actually, actually, I'm a university teacher.
Are
I'm
you?
far
Okay.
from, yeah, but I'm a writer too. I write the movie scripts. The thing is that when I contacted with those guys who are producers in LA or generally in the US, and
Hmm.
they told me even, for example, that person as a famous writer, he told me even I'm a famous writer now, but I cannot make it happen for myself these days.
Mm.
So this is a
Hmm.
very competitive environment. So you, as a, for example, Middle East person, you will have a very difficult way in
Mm.
order to make it happen for yourself. Me, as a Native American, for example, I have this problem for many years. Maybe 10
Hmm.
years later, I will have this chance. So if you don't have that budget, it's very hard
Hmm.
to make it happen for you in
I know.
movie industry
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, I agree. Even right now, like I'm partnering up with a friend of mine, and we have a script, and we are looking for backers, and we're all in that same.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Hmm.
And usually we ask our the people that we are having such interview about the cultural things. And for to foreigners, what would you say that you like or dislike about American culture because you were born and raised there? So what would you say about that to foreigners who were not in the U.S., for example?
Yeah. Um, for the industry, um, I, I don't know what I would say really. I haven't really, that's a really great question. I would say think of different paths, think of different avenues, because even here it's hard as a native, like a US citizen, and to being in the industry for as long as I have, it's not easy. And I think there's a lot of incredible opportunity in other countries than the United States. Because I would suggest to think outside the box in that way. I was just at Sundance this year for a film that I did, and I met the most incredible, talented filmmakers who are from other countries, and they have incredible film industries and incredible film festivals. And I would say look at home first before you come with all your dreams to the United States, because there are so many more, there are a lot of opportunity. I'm saying more, but there's a lot of opportunity within other countries that I'm even like wanting to be a part of. So I would say look home first before you put all your eggs in a basket in the United States.
Yeah, that's true. And by the
Mm.
way, about the cultural thing about United States, it's very hard to pick up something because the US is very vast. So how is it possible to talk
Mm-hmm.
about the unique, for example, culture, right? We
Mm-hmm.
have
Mm-hmm.
lots of diversity. It's very hard to say that.
Yeah, yeah. It's a very fast pace. I lived in New York. I should know. I'm tired. Like, it's a very fast pace. So it's nice to even be in California right now.
Yeah.
But I'm,
By the way, we have this fun as a challenge. We
mm-hmm.
call it crazy eyebrow. Let's see if you can do it too. We
Okay.
use just we pull one eyebrow up, the
Oh,
other down, like this.
I've been never
Can you do
able to
that?
do that. No,
Really?
I've never been able to do that. I'm like, maybe when I'm like had too many to drink. I can't. Honestly, I've tried before. I can do the two, but I literally am even
Because as I
trying right now.
understood,
I'm like, like that.
one of the practices, as I understood in theater, is
Mhm.
that facial expression,
Mhm.
and this
Mhm.
one is not practiced that much, but it's a
Right, right
cool
here.
one actually.
You can do it really well. I like it.
Yeah, I actually did it since childhood. So I made this challenge on internet. So
I
people
like
are
it.
joining this challenge, those who can do it.
It's
But
great.
maybe after practicing, everyone, I
I
think
know.
they
I'll
can do
let
it.
you know. I'll let you know if I can do it. Can you roll your tongue?
That would be perfect. What to
Can
do
you
with tongue?
can you roll your tongue?
No, no way. All
No?
my talent is
No.
related
See,
to
oh,
my
it's all up
eyebrow.
here. Well, it's closer to your brain.
Elsewhere is, yeah.
Well,
And
I'm
I know
like,
even some people who can do it with, for example, left eyebrow, but not the right eyebrow. It's interesting. So, Cassandra, for those people who want to follow you, where they can find you? Oh, we have a disconnection, I guess. Is it okay now? Yeah. Cassandra, can you hear me now? Yeah, we had a
you there? I can
disconnection
hear
now.
you.
I think the speed is okay.
Okay.
So you were
Awesome.
saying, in order for the fans and those who want to know you better to
Mhm.
know better about you,
Yeah.
where they can find you, where they can see your work.
Yeah. Well, my Instagram is at she is Cass, and then my website is cassandra-clark.com. Um, but I'm on Amazon Prime for Infinity Chamber. Um, there's also another film that's out called The Countdown, which went to Sundance, and that is on countdownfilms.com. But everything is on IMDb. You can look for it. So it's just a matter of researching. I don't do a lot of social media, but maybe Instagram is the best way.
Oh, I see. Cassandra,
Yeah.
thank you very much for your time. I know you're
My
busy.
pleasure.
It was a
Yeah,
pleasure
soaking the
talking
sun.
with you.
Pleasure. Thank you.
You're such a fun character to talk with, and you're
Yeah,
so
very sweet. Thank you.
talented. I already noticed that in the that Infinity Chamber. I know you're doing even great in theater, and I'm looking forward also to see more of you in those movies
Yeah.
and more of your talent.
Yeah. I really appreciate it.
I think again, little disconnection. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope also
Yeah.
to see you in person.
Same. Come to LA.
So wish you a wonderful. Yeah, I do my best, but we will see. Maybe you can come to Cyprus. It would be easier for you.
Oh, there
And
we go.
maybe we are trying to have a movie festivals here. In that case, that would
Oh,
be perfect.
yes. That would be amazing. Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you indeed. So have a wonderful time.
Bye,
See
guys.
you. Bye.